back with our problem again, but now it's with the other side. I don't know why it's getting moisture inside of the headlights. I really don't know that. I can't seem to figure it out. I don't think it's because there's a crack in it. It's the new headlights. I don't think it's because there's a crack. It might be a vent issue or ventilation issue, but nonetheless it has moisture in it. I'm not gonna try to fix it. Just let it sit or whatever. Another thing is we're gonna show you how to cut the tie rods and get it prepped for the Max Track 9 7 to 9 inch adjustable lift. Of course, I still have parts coming in. I have most of them already here, as far as like the knuckles and things like that. For the most part, I pretty much am almost at that point. So now we should go ahead and start prepping, of course, which we will do soon. It won't be today, most likely, but it'll be soon enough. But we are gonna go ahead and prep the tie rod ends and everything like that. So I'm gonna show y'all how to do it. So let's talk about all the tools and materials you're gonna need just to cut just the tie rod ends alone. Oh man, let's not talk about that. So the tools you're obviously gonna need, you gotta have your grinder. The thinnest blade you can obviously get or find at whatever hardware store your location is, of course. And also you want to get you a protective mask. I just went with this $17 respirator mask, of course, because it's going to be more for just paint as well, and not just this project, but for paint as well. And then you got to get, you obviously have your tie rods. If you don't already have them off, then you would leave them on and then do your measurements accordingly that way. So this is all you would pretty much need: gloves, your tie rods, both inner and outer, and then you'll also need grinder and then respirator mask or safety goggles or whatever, whichever one you want, whatever you feel more comfortable with. And you don't have to get the respirator. I went with it, of course, because it does protect your whole face. And what's the point of going and getting so many different other masks for different projects when they all could work the same? It's a mask. So as long as it's a hard cover or hard shell cover, you should be all right. Now I want to go ahead and mount the camera up and show you exactly how we're going to cut it. And of course, you got to go on Max Track and find your measurements, all right? And you can talk to Sean over in Arizona, in the Arizona location, and Sean will be able to tell you exactly what all you need to do. You can ask him any question you want. He'll be able to let you know. All right, so far this is what we got accomplished right here. As you can see that it is working. The tip is hot, so you don't want to touch the tip right here. Even though you only been cutting like split where you put the line at, it does heat up the whole thing. As you can see, it was sparking like crazy. This is what you should expect when cutting your tie rod in. You got to go easy on it because that blade, of course, can break. As you can see, it is a thin, very thin blade, so the blade is working real good, mighty fine, I'll be honest with you. Ryobi, they do make really good corded tools, but cordless is where the problem lies. So the reason you want to wear gloves, of course, is because this tie rod is hot right now. It's hot. The whole shaft from here all the way to here is hot. And I mean hot as in it felt like it was in the oven, you know what I'm saying? But that's what it looks like. And you know, you do that with all of them. I mean with the other one as well. You just line it up the right way or whatever, and you just go ahead and cut it accordingly. And it's a grinder, so you can sand the corners down, you know what I'm saying? You can sand the corners down, and then from there you just, you know, you got your grease, you just put your grease fitting. You got your grease gun, you put it on the grease fitting, go ahead, give it about 5 pumps, and then that should give you the lubrication you need. But I'm not installing it today, of course. Today all I'm doing is just cutting it and preparing it for when it's time to install them, you know. And we can rethread it, of course, once we go ahead and cut the threaded part of the tie rods. I'm gonna show you guys how to cut everything up, okay? And then when it's time to install, on the day of installation, whenever I do get my struts in, I got to get the adjustable struts in. It's been a little minute because they had a delay for whatever reason. I guess the weather up in California wasn't hitting too well. So once I go ahead and get that in, I'm gonna just go ahead, go through with the installation, of course. And I might as well just go ahead and show y'all exactly the rest of the tools I'm gonna need as far as strut compressors and things like that. I'll take y'all on a little journey with me when I go and purchase that. So y'all just stay tuned or whatever, man. I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all the rest of this right here. I wish I could cut it at a better angle, but this is the only angle I could find that was comfortable with me, even though it might be a little dangerous with the blade face directly towards you like this. You know, if you could cut it sideways, you know, like this, that would be helpful, but it's hard because the way you have to position your hands. So the only way you can cut it is forward and backwards like this. All right.
Look up, Mason.
So to me, everything is pretty much looking good. Our outer tie rods are complete. Let me see, they hot. They ain't hot, but it's our outer tie rod right here. They've been threaded rethreaded already. Yeah, so they've been rethreaded. You see, smoothing out the end. That tape, I'm gonna remove that tape, man. So this right here is tape. This is how I, measured up my ends. I use tape instead of like chalk or, pencil, color pencil, whatever. But this is what I use to measure up mine. Measuring tape. Then I lined it with some pencil and then taped it to make sure it'll actually be a visible line to where I know I can cut. Another one is all done too, as you can see. Hopefully you guys did get a good glimpse of what I was doing. The grinder does work really good, of course, and this is what our tie rods look like after you cut it to where you need to cut it. This is for the 7 to 9 inch max track lift kit. This is what you will have to do, of course, if you're going to go that high, 7 to 9 inches of lift, and for max tracks lift kit. Of course, I'm sure if you go with a 7.5 inch rough country, you probably got to cut your tie rod ends, inner and outer tie rods, and it's probably going to be the same specifications, of course, right? But this is how much we chopped off on each of them. Pretty much around the same amount. That's what we chopped off. Like that. It's threaded, it looked clean. I think it's pretty clean. Castle nut. Look like it's already got grease inside of the it has grease already inside of the grommets. It might have been from when I did install it, because I actually did install these tie rods and test drove it and my tires was kind of like sucked in to the bottom part of the tires was kind of like this. So when you drive it down the road, people will see you driving your tires looking like that, you know what I'm saying? So I had to take these off because I didn't know how to cut tie rods back then, you know what I'm saying? But now, back then, I didn't know how to cut tie rods. So that Ryobi grinder is official. I mean, I like it, I probably use it a lot more because I do end up now I'm gonna tell y'all a surprise, but I do want to do a little bit more work with the grinder, of course. This is just a little test run right here, of course, to make sure we are doing everything the right way. So we're gonna go ahead and cut the inner tie rods, and we're gonna rethread it. We're not installing anything today, so you ain't gotta worry about that. And then we're gonna probably move on to fix the hyper flash on my turn signals. And you can do that, but you gotta either wire it or you gotta spend the extra money to get the proper turn signals to prevent the hyper flash. You know what I mean? I'd rather just go ahead and fix the permanent way and do it like that. So let's get it. threads are both cut, matched up pretty much the same. So I won't say it's perfect, but it's pretty much at the very same length in a way. You know, if you line them up, you can see how close they are in similar measurement. This is obviously the parts, the excess parts we cut off, and they're still hot, y'all. So I'll be honest with you, even after a few minutes of letting it sit, it is still hot, y'all. They thread on real good though with the outers. So these do thread on really smooth with the outers, of course. So it ain't no worries, you know, we ain't tripping off of it. You know, it's just, that's how it look right there. Now I do want to go ahead and show y'all. So we ended up getting that part out the way. It was easy, but you got to keep in mind you're wearing a mask the whole time you're doing it too. So the goal is obviously to be safe when you do it. So that's why you want to use gloves, whichever kind of gloves you decide you want to use. Mechanic gloves, gardening gloves. Don't use nitrate. Use actual mechanic or mechanic or gardening gloves, or the gloves that I used, which was like winter snow gloves or whatever. You make sure it's a little heavy duty in a way. Also, those sparks are hot, so you will feel them once they bounce. If they bouncing on your leg, you're gonna feel them. So that's another thing too. One other thing as well is the face wear. The face wear, it's all preference because the sparks can obviously bounce up and hit you in the face as well. So if you want to keep a maximum protection on your face, you can also just use a face guard that's just a clear visor, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a clear visor. You can put that on. You can probably find it online for probably 20 bucks or something like that, probably less. And you can also get it from maybe Lowe's or Home Depot or whichever hardware store you like to go to. You could probably find a face mask like that too. You see, it's a little dirty. I just washed it last week and it just feels like no matter how much you wash this dang thing, it gets dirty, regardless if you live on a dirt road or not. And I don't live on a dirt road, so I don't know why it's dirty all the time like that. Headlights, I don't really care to fix the fog in them, but I'm really beyond that point right now. I am in a bigger mindset right now. I'm in a mindset of getting the big things out the way. You know what I mean? We got a lift kit. That's a serious measure, of course. You know what I mean? So you got to keep that in mind as well, that you're going to be pretty much under the truck or in the wheel well for the most part. I'm going to go ahead and figure out this headlight situation and see if I can come upon how to fix the hyper flash, and of course, you know what I'm saying. Situation is fixed, of course. Turn signal, hyper flash is gone now. Now we got to worry about this moisture in the headlight or the assembly. Check the other side again. The other side is working. My Chevy Silverado, it's a 07, but some of y'all might have a little different situation. You might have the blue and white tracer wire, or you might just have the brown tracer wires. I have the solid blue ones, you know what I'm saying? But the black wire is obviously the ground wire in the turn signals, right? You would want to use the same black wire, which is the top wire, or the top turn signal black wire for both resistors, all right? But each resistor you use, they're both going to go to one black wire, but each of the ends are going to go to a different blue wire or different blue and white stripe wire or whatever other wire other than black. You know what I'm saying? But my situation is a solid blue. And I did not use T-taps. I did not use T-taps, T-clamps, whatever you call them things that come inside of the resistor pack. I use my one and only favorite disconnects and quick connects. So I know I'm a little late and I apologize for that extremely, but the video obviously is done. I ended up getting two things accomplished today. Of course, we ended up cutting our tie rod ends, both inner and outer, and then we ended up fixing a hyper flash on our LED turn signals by using the 50-watt resistors. I wish I could have done a better sit down and breakdown of it, but I'll give y'all a better breakdown some other time. I had a little bit of issues and run-ins with family members on, my girl's side or whatever. Her family, we talked, chit-chat a little bit. That took up some time. And also my neighbor came and seen what I was doing. And if you watch some of my other videos, like the wheel light installation one or the one where I installed the wheel lights, I was interrupted in the middle of my installations. Or in the middle of my review. Yeah, so I have a neighbor that does kind of like check up and make, try to, talk to me every now and then whenever he see me, and then whenever he see me working on my truck, he, come holler or whatever. And shit, he cool old dude or whatever, retired. But sometimes I just want to get my job done, get my work done without no distractions at all. You know what I'm saying? Because it held me up, and now, as you can see, it is late at night. So that's another thing right there, late at night. And of course, if it's late at night, you can't really see the wheel lights that good. You know what I'm saying? So now you got late at night. You got, I couldn't get as much done as I wanted to get done today, but we got two things done. Next week, hopefully, we can get more stuff done. So I just want to say, thank you for tuning in or whatever. Stay tuned for the next big thing that's coming up. I don't know when the next big thing is coming up, but it's gonna come up soon. All right, catch y'all later.